So tell us about your family and the ages of your family.
Okay, so I have, let's see, one. I've raised 14 children. I have two adopted, which are 29, 23, and then I have a daughter that became my daughter when she was 9 years old, and I lost track of her, and I connected back with her when she was 21. So I have three children, and then I have three granddaughters. They are a year and 8 months, 4, and 7. And so,
When and why did you begin this organization?
I began the organization from, I was attending Bible college, and a young lady, a young man in the class had a postcard picture of his mom in El Salvador with a little guy, and they were missionaries, they were evangelists, and they went from village to village. And when I saw the picture, I thought it was really nice, and I went home. This may sound crazy. I went home, I went to sleep. I woke up with a screen size picture on my wall, and the word was shoes. And so I asked God, what did that mean? And he said to me, I need you to take her shoes. And so therein began. I contacted her son and got in contact with her and wrote her a letter and told her that I needed to bring her shoes. And she's a real shy person. And she said, no, that's all right. And then I said, no, you need shoes. And she said, yes, the children need shoes. So at that point, I started collecting shoes. And in 2007, I took my first load. And I've taken shoes to a place called Namasa, Kenya, which is a child care orphanage. It's called the child care center because the children don't like to be called orphans because they're not orphans, because they've learned through the word of God that we're not orphans. We were adopted by God through his son Jesus Christ. So therefore, they don't like to be called orphans. So we named it a child care center. And we built a facility for them to sleep in. We built a toilet, 2 toilets and a shower. It's all one building. We built a well, and then when I was there in 2014, we deepened the well.
Tell us about the times when you were positively and negatively affected by your experiences in your travels.
I'm always positively affected because of the their joy. You know, in Kenya, when I went, we took T-shirts and that I bought in El Salvador, and the children were so excited to have the T-shirts. And I went back to El Salvador just 2 weeks ago, and there were kids there wearing the T-shirts. They keep the T-shirts. But the positive thing is that they're always happy, whether I have something for them or not. They are happy to see me because they just are happy that somebody cares enough about them to come. Whether you have something that fits them or not, if you just give them a sucker or a piece of candy or a little car or a toy or a balloon, and you just hug them and hold them, that they're happy about that. That also causes pain, because when I was in El Salvador, just like when I was in Kenya, every country I go to, I'm affected by one child. I come home with the memory of one child. In El Salvador in 2009, we were allowed to go into the prison to see deportees from the United States. At that time, the U.S. wasn't deporting as many people as they are now, but they were deporting. And they deported this young man that I had met here in the States. And when I went there, the person that he connected with, I knew her. She's the missionary that I connect with. That's how God does it. He connects you like that. So we got to go to the prison to see him. We didn't need no ID, nothing. They just let us in. But I met a little boy. He was about 5 or 6 years old. He could have been my child, literally. He looked that much like me. I didn't have a camera or anything, so I couldn't take his picture. but he was 5 years old, about 5 or 6 years old. He did not speak English. All of his teeth were kind of rotted out, and he had on some flip-flops, not the between the toe, the cross kind. One was whole, and one had only half of the shoe. And he had the distended stomach. And his pants were too small. His shirt was too small. And he had to use the restroom. So we pointed him to a corner. And whoever he was with, they had left him with a plate of food. And he was trying to eat the plate of food. We didn't have no money. I think we had $1 or something. He was gonna buy a drink. So we gave him our dollars. And he said to the interpreter that he had always prayed to God for 100 pennies. And so we told him, you now have 200 pennies. And was nothing else we could do for him but pray for him. And then they told us we could go up. But I always think about that little boy, and I look up at the stars at night. And I know that somewhere in the world, he is looking up at the same stars that I look up at. And that affects me a lot. And then I met some little boys in Kenya. And every day we went past the store so I could buy my bottle of water. And it was some little boys there. They were there every day. And I had peppermints, the stick peppermints that you get at Christmas time in the plastic bag. No wrapping, just the peppermint. So I gave them a peppermint, and they was there every day. They were dirty. They had on little old sweaters. So every day we would come, they would ask for sweets. Does the lady have sweets? So I would give them sweets. I would give them to the guy, one of the guys, because you have people that keep you safe. So I would, give them a candy. And so the last day I had gave out all the toys. I didn't have any candy or anything. I just had some coins. And so they asked for sweets, and I said, I don't have any more. And I asked the guy, and I have their pictures on my camera, on my video camera at home. I asked the guy if they would let me take their picture. And can I use your bottle? It's a little big, but I'm gonna see if I can do this. So I asked if I could take their pictures. And so I didn't see the bottle. But it's not this big. Okay. So I asked if I could take their picture, and they stood up for me to take their picture. And I took more than one. By the time I got to the third picture, the little boy had took the bottle out of his pocket and did like this. And I have that picture. He may have been 10. But they stood out there. They were there every day. I watched the men at the store chase them away. I watched people spit at them. I watched somebody throw a bottle of water on them. I watched a lot of things happen to those little kids. It was 2 of them. They was about 9 and 10. And that affected me. It affected me negatively because nobody cared for them. And around the world, we have over 300,000 children who are homeless. And right now, we have the crisis in Syria, we have Yemen, we have Somalia, we have South Sudan, and we have northwestern Nigeria, which is experiencing famine. The forecast is that 3 children a day die in each of those countries due to a lack of water or food. And the UN has reported that mothers have to decide between their children if they are going to feed themselves and which one of their children are they going to feed. And most of the time, they feed the weakest child that day. So it's really a real crisis in the world when the UN says we have a famine condition, we have a famine condition in our world. And it shouldn't be like that. Because in the United States, we throw away about 50 tons of food a day. We don't eat. If we could weigh all the food that's thrown in the trash, it's enough to feed around the world. The thing people say about us Americans in the African countries, they say, even your poor people are fat. So that says a lot about our prosperity. So I hope I answered your question.
You did.